Hey, everybody. So my name is Quavadas Gates. Everybody calls me Quo. My goal is to get a role as a sales engineer. While going about this goal, I decided to use my project management skills in order to build out a project for myself, which will lead me to getting that role. So I'm going to call this Journey to the Job. I'm going to create this as if it was a system. The reason I'm creating it as a system is because I wanted to make it repeatable for anyone out there who's also on the same journey as myself and they need a little guidance. I'm not going to claim to have the guidance necessarily. I'm just going to utilize my skills and show you my roadmap. And if that roadmap's worked for you, then it does. If it doesn't, then thanks for watching the video. But also, one of the major parts of this is so that I can display my skills so that it can help me to land the role. So here we go. I am reading off a sheet of paper. This sheet right here is, okay, you can see it better. I'm going to change that so it isn't just blurry. But this sheet right here, and actually I'll pull it. I have two screens set up. So I'll pull it from my second screen because I took a photo of it. Okay, I took a photo of it. I'm going to pull it from my second screen and share my screen so that everybody can kind of see what I'm working from and I can be able to explain everything. All right, so now you guys are on my major home screen. I have two screens, so if you see me pulling things from one side, then it's because I have a screen set up here, which is my laptop, and then I have a monitor set up here. It's larger. It makes it easy for me to work. It's a skill that I learned while working actually in tech. And if you have any, if you're interested in what a sales engineer is, it's a role in tech where someone explains complex ideas, which is the journey that I'll go through as I document my, maturation into becoming a sales engineer. All right, so here we go. So here is my project charter. Charter is basically just all like the documents associated with whatever you're currently doing. I want you guys to be able to see it, so I'm going to make it a gallery. I'm going to make this pretty large. Dun, 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 dun. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so this just gives you a glimpse of what I'm reading. If my handwriting isn't good or if my spelling isn't phenomenal, then I'm no literary teacher. But this is how I work. I work best on paper, at least when I'm planning. I plan best on paper. And then from there, I can turn some of these documents to like an online document, which would give me the opportunity to be a bit more flexible with this. But having it on paper just allows me to touch it, feel it, organize it. And then from here, I can transform it into something more professional. I'm not turning this into anyone, so it kind of doesn't matter to me. And I just want to be as efficient as possible. All right, so my mission is to document my journey to getting a sales engineer role and show how I'm going to go about it. That's my mission for this entire series of videos. My objective is to use a combination of many of my project management and sales skills to procure, that's a project management term, but to procure a role as a sales engineer. Executive summary is to build out an effective and repeatable strategy to obtain interviews and land a role in the amount of $150,000 plus. $150,000 is my personal goal. If you have your own goals, whatever they may be, set those goals, keep those goals. I actually hate that I left this here simply because whatever your goal is your goal. I have my goal. I'm willing to work towards my goal and for my goal. And I hope that I actually surpass that goal. But that's my goal. So 150 is my goal. Okay, so the way that the way that I learn to do things is by using SMART goals. So to do this, I'm going to use SMART goals. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, relevant, and time-based. So specific, I want to specifically get a sales engineer role in cybersecurity, the cloud, or AI. Of course, I wanted to pay at least $150,000. Measurable. So weekly, I'm going to reevaluate the strategies to increase efficiency and allocate more time to things that are working. So when something isn't working, I'm not going to allocate a whole lot of time to it. I want to weekly make different adjustments so that I can make sure that I get to my journey in the most efficient route. In terms of it being attainable or achievable, I broke this down into two different components. So it being attainable, I'll break down each one of these tasks into small chunks. Basically, what I want to eventually do is put out at least 1,000 applications. I'm going to do 10 applications per week. I broke it down into 6 days. I don't plan to be perfect, and I plan to take a day to evaluate everything, which is, of course, a part of it being measurable, which means that I'll do about 17 different tasks per day. These tasks will be specifically my prospecting task. So 17 per day, 100 divided by 6 is like 16.6. If you round up, you get 17. So I'm going to do 17 per day. I'm going to do that on a 6-week basis. And I want to do this project for 10 weeks. The reason why it's important to me to do it for 10 weeks is because I have a goal to become a sales engineer by my college homecoming. Homecoming is in 10 weeks. So here we go. We're on this journey. Making it relevant. Well, it's relevant because personally, I am a relationship builder and problem solver. This role combines the two of those things. So I'm specifically seeking this role because it combines a lot of things that I like. I can be technical in this role and go in deep about things that I'm really interested in, which are cybersecurity, cloud-based computing, and automation, or AI specifically. I can build relationships because it's a relationship sale. So I come from real estate sales, and my way of consistently selling homes or buildings, which was basically I would build relationships with people. And from those relationships, I would get referrals. From those relationships, I was able to get them to trust me to make these investments. And then the last one, T, to round off SMART, is time-based. Again, my time base is 10 weeks. I will do this for 10 weeks and then I'll reevaluate. And as you can see it right here. So time-based 10 weeks, then reevaluate. I will reevaluate a couple of different things. I don't know where this journey is going to lead me. I don't know what I'll learn along this journey. A couple of things I'm willing to reevaluate is, A, do I have the right tools and skill set in order to get the role? B, am I focused on the right sectors, or the sectors that would be more advantageous to allowing me entry? And then C, is my output enough? Do I have to do more? Do I have to switch it from 100 applications, outreach, and prospecting per week to more? I don't know, but I'm willing to learn. And that's what you'll see along this journey with these videos. So we're going to move straight to the top. My scope of work. Now, this is important because it allows for you to do what you're tasked to do and not to do things outside of your task. And also, I think that for us job seekers, this is important because it will allow us to not be down on ourselves in terms of how I plan my scope and things that are out of my scope. I can only control the controllables. What I can control is my output. What I can control is my effort. What I can control is my consistency. Those are the things that I can control. I can control my education. This is another thing. But I can't control if someone picks me or sees value in me or wants to make the investment in me. I really can't control that. So I won't allow it to shake my confidence. I think confidence is one of the most valuable assets that a person can have. I take pride in educating myself and building myself up to have certain levels of confidence. I don't necessarily think like there's a such thing as the most confident person, and it's plenty of things that I'm not probably most confident at, but I don't want this journey to attack my self-esteem in any way. So for me, in terms of scope, the scope is to get attraction, and through that attraction I plan to land 100 interviews. So if I'm putting out 1,000 outreach and applications per week, then if my result is 100 interviews, that's a 10% return on my effort. I think that it's kind of realistic, but of course, along this journey, I'll see if it's even realistic at all. And then things that are out of my scope, which goes back to this confidence piece, is actually depending on the company to believe in me and land a role. Landing a role is just a bit out of my scope. I cannot make the final decision. I don't know who my competition is. I don't know what a company is necessarily looking for. Sometimes you just get picked on like ability. I hope I'm likable. Like, I don't know. So because I don't know, and because I don't have full control over making a final decision, I won't put that on my heart whatsoever. But what's in my scope is my effort. And the effort is to put out 1,000 outreach methods and to get 10% return, which should result in about 100 interviews. And if I get 10% return on 100 interviews, that should result in about 10 offers. If I get 10 offers, oh my goodness, that would be a joy. It really would. It would check all boxes, and I'm pretty sure I'd be able to negotiate and be efficient in choosing the role that'll progress me forward. So the methods that I'm going to use are prospecting, cold outreach, prospecting here, all of this stuff around it, I'll explain, cold outreach, and content creation. So we'll start at the bottom. Content creation. This video, I'm titling it Journey to the Job. That'll be the title of this video series that I'm going to make. This video is an example of content creation. I'm also going to continue to work on a portfolio that I've been working on. My portfolio is me reading scripts. My portfolio is me discussing certain topics, and then news on the industry. That's an idea that I have. I'm not sure if I'll execute it because I need to also be efficient with my time. I have a life. I actually have a job now. I'm just looking for a role that's more suitable, and it's the goal that I have to get this role. And then I'm also going to do, for content creation, graphics, illustrating topics. So these graphics will just be an opportunity for me to explain what was discussed in a lot of these videos. For this one, graphics, the role doesn't require me to be able to make any graphics. I'm putting that out there to say that I won't promise to you guys that I'm going to be perfect. What I will promise to you guys is that I will put out 1,000 outreach and applications throughout 10 weeks. I will try hard to do at least one video per week. Those are things that I'm going to promise. The graphics, I'm not going to promise, just simply because I don't know where that leads me, and I don't know how much time I'll need to invest into doing that. I know how to design graphics, and sometimes graphics take a long time. Sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it just doesn't feel like the most efficient thing to do, especially because getting a graphic design job isn't my current goal. So coming back up here to prospecting, I'm doing this one last because prospecting is a complex thing, and I need to show you what I mean by that. So this page over here, this is my prospecting page. So this prospecting page shows you how I'm going to go about prospecting. And to be honest, this is the meat and potatoes of it all. If you're not prospecting, then you don't have leads. If you don't have leads, then there's no way possible to get to a deal. So if getting the job or getting the interview is getting to a deal, then prospecting is the task that I'll spend probably 75% of my time doing. I am overlapping prospecting and outreach together just simply because, I mean, in my last role, I had to prospect, I had to make my outreach. It's a consistent process. So prospecting, here we go. One way that I'll prospect is going to job boards. So these are 11 job boards that I came up with. LinkedIn, Indeed, Sales Head, The Ladders, Glassdoor, Sales Tracks, Career Builder, Dice, Google Jobs, ZipRecruiter. And then this is a special one that I'm in, which is the Pre-Sales Collective. It's a Slack channel, and there's always jobs listed there. So how do I go about applying to all of these places and all of the jobs that'll be on these places for 10 weeks? I could set it up where I'll do one per week. I'll pick one site and do per week, but I feel as though it's some pros and some cons to that. It's very time efficient, but it could potentially lead to me not seeing certain opportunities that could be advantageous for me. I haven't made the decision here yet, which is why I went over here, which says that I'll reevaluate based on user experience, ease of use, and response or scheduled interviews. So the way I'm going to go about it first is I'm going to start with the granddaddy of them all, just the big dog, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where we all are. LinkedIn is where I'm going to post this video. LinkedIn is where we make business connections. I'm going to go to LinkedIn. I will go to LinkedIn and do what I have here. And this is the math of it all, which I'll explain. But I'm going to utilize LinkedIn. LinkedIn makes it easy for me to utilize it on my phone. LinkedIn's user experience is it's sleek, it's to the point. If you have any computer know-how, then you can kind of figure out how to use LinkedIn. And then the thing that'll make or break if I consistently use LinkedIn is this part, which is response or scheduled interviews. Now, if I use LinkedIn consistently for a week and I don't get much response and I don't get many scheduled interviews, and response would be emails from those who are hosting the job or the business. Response would be those reaching back out to me who are recruiters. Response would be those sort of things. Now, LinkedIn will be integral in the whole experience, but LinkedIn is going to go first. And if I don't get the response, that is at least 10%, then I'm going to move on and make my way down the list. Other methods that I'll use is headhunters. I'm learning about headhunters now. They're basically independent contractors who have recruiting roles. So I'm going to reach out to some headhunters. My goal now is to reach out to 3 per day. Recruiters and employees of a company. So recruiters are what the name is, which are recruiters. Employees of the company are hiring managers, those who work in HR, those who are currently sales engineers, senior sales engineers, anyone who could potentially get me either a referral or I can build a relationship with. I'm going to reach out to at least 3 of them daily. You see this little scribble because at first I tried to evaluate it at 2 per day, but 2 per day didn't get me to where I wanted to go. So 3 per day is what I'm going to do. And then direct job postings, which would be me going directly to the website of the top brands that I would love to work at and fill out their application on their website. So for instance, like companies like, AWS, Cisco, Microsoft Azure, Google, like the big names. I would love to work for some of those, like Lockheed Martin. I would love to. Raytheon. But again, my scope of work is reaching out to them, putting in the effort. I cannot count on them making the decision to hire me. I hope that they do. I think that I'm valuable. I know that I would be an asset for a team, but if I'm not, then I won't allow it to shake my self-confidence. So now I'm going to scroll in a little bit just to show you guys what the math breakdown would look like. And I actually thought about calling this the 1100 project, and I'll explain. So right here for the job boards, I'm going to do 8 per day. I'm going to do 8 per day at 6 days a week, which brings me out to 48 weekly for the job boards. 48 weekly after 10 weeks will bring me down to 480. And then I'm going to do an extra 20 for extra credit. I like round numbers. If someone asked me if I wanted $480 or $500, I would take the 500 every day. So I'm going to, push myself to produce 500. Here for the headhunters, I plan to reach out to 3 per day at 6 days per week, which will be 18 weekly, which will bring me out to 180 total once the project is over. I'm going to do 20 extra credit again. Again, this is the round number thing, 180 versus 200. Here for the recruiters and employees of a company, I'm going to build relationships. 3 per day at 6 days per week, which will bring me down to 180 total. I'm going to do my extra credit again. So that'll bring me down to 200. And then direct job postings, I'm going to do 3 per day, 6 days a week, brings me down to 180, brings me down to my extra credit again, which would be 200. So you go 480 plus, or you go to reverse. So let's do 180 times 3, and then we're going to add 480. That'll bring us down to 1,020. My goal is 1,000. 1,020 is what I could produce here. But because of my extra credit, I'm going to do an extra 80, because 2 times 4 or 20 times 4, that's an extra 80. And at that extra 80 is going to bring me down to 1,100, which is why I joked about the 1,100 project. I'm still going to call this Journey to the Job, but for you guys who are insiders, maybe I'll have like a prize or something. I don't know. I don't know where this thing is going to go, but maybe at the end, I'll make reference to 1,100 project, and those who know will know, and those who won't, they just won't. It'll just be some fun for all of us. If I get to 10 videos, then please somebody write 1,100 project down in the comments, and my word, if you and I ever meet in person, your drink is on me. So that's it. Now, the only things that'll stop all of this is if I actually get the role, a role that pays what I want it to pay, a role that provides the insurance that I need for my family, a role that provides the flexibility, and a role that I'm just a good fit for, and they're a good fit for me. Ultimately, the goal is to get the role. So I'm not going to become tied emotionally to this process. I'm going to work this process, understand why I'm working this process. And if this process no longer suits me, then I won't proceed with it. For any of you guys that can be helped by this process, use it. I'm trying to design it to be more so as a system, because if I'm going through this problem, then I know a lot of other people are too. And as the video series go on, I'll explain what I mean by the problem. And this is basically a solution for all of us who are consistently putting in applications. Like on LinkedIn, I think I've put in like 1,100 applications or something, and I'm just not getting the traction that I want. So I need to do it in a measurable way that will allow for me to get the traction that I want. So here's a couple other extra things, side notes and things that I just need to think about, and things that I'm attempting to display. So as a sales engineer, of course, I have to have certain competency, and that's what brought me to creating this video series. The skills that I plan to use is project management. I plan to display my planning ability, which I've just displayed bits and pieces of it. I plan to display my ability to create strategy, which again, bits and pieces of it. And then my execution skills, that'll be when I consistently come and let you guys know what the results were of my efforts. So sales, this is also a skill that I plan to use, which I'll display my prospecting, my qualifying of a lead to make sure that I'm great for them. And I'll also, I'll qualify them to make sure they're great for me. And I'll make sure that I qualify myself to make sure that I'm great for them. Demonstration of skills, which is, as a sales engineer, your job is to introduce and explain complex ideas, which is what I plan to do throughout this series. And then negotiating. Negotiating is a little out of my scope, to be honest, but negotiating is what I'll need to kind of brush up on and pay attention to as I start to interview and ultimately get those 10 job offers. So creative skills, graphic design. Remember, I told you guys, I don't want to pretend to be perfect. So I plan to display my graphic design ability, which I can actually do now. But graphic design, video producing, which is what I'm currently doing. And some of my videos will have graphics and things of that sort. And then creative thinking, which as we walk through this entire process, you'll be able to see my strategy, my thought patterns, and my ability to come up with ideas, whether any of us deem them as valuable or not. I think the open market will let me know if my ideas are valuable. Presentation skills. So I want to introduce you guys to complex ideas and show my ability to explain and execute on complex ideas in hopes of landing a dream role. As a sales engineer, that is the job. You have a set of complex ideas. You need to discover what your client's issues are and how you can help and assess them in terms of solving those problems, and then deliver the product that you guys offer for their issues. That's the role of a sales engineer. That's what I plan to do throughout this video series. And I really do hope that you guys can get anything out of it. And then number 5 is computer literacy and know-how. You guys will be able to display as I share my screen, my filing, my Microsoft, my Google Suites and things, different things of that sort that I'm able to use Zoom. I'm not sure all of the computer literacy things that I will display along this journey, but these are just the things that I can think of now. And then this is my postscript. If you notice any skills that I'm using, please let me know in the comments. And I would really appreciate if you guys could endorse me on LinkedIn. It would be, payback. And this isn't even an exchange in terms of I need anything in return. I would just appreciate it. And if you think that I've displayed a skill that you deem could be valuable to the open market, endorsing me on LinkedIn would make me smile. And then this last page, this is just a scrap sheet for me. So, when I discussed here, one of my SMART goals is to make it attainable and achievable. Now, it can be interchangeable, but I broke it down into 2 parts. Part number 1 is to educate myself on topics and stay up to date. And then part number 2 is breaking it down into small chunks and prospecting. Now, in terms of part number 1 with education, currently I am in the midst of my 2nd tech bootcamp. My education will be finishing that bootcamp. My education will also be research and develop a better resume, which I'm going to pull over my resumes. And then my education will be also to read job postings, then learn and practice the listed skills. So that part is kind of important because a lot of these job postings, they want certain skills like, do you know how to use this type of technology? Do you know how to use that? Do you have this ability or that ability? So for my direct job postings, I will be reading the entire description. I will notice and mark off what skills I do have so that I can highlight those on my resume or my cover letter directly to that business. And I will also learn skills and develop skills, because ultimately the goal is to get the role. It's a little bit out of scope, but the goal is to get the role. I'm going to show you guys A, my graphic design ability, but also B, I'm going to show you guys this one. So research and develop a better resume. This is a project manager resume. Initially, when I decided to come to tech, I thought that project management could be great for me. And I learned a lot of good things. It could still be a great role for me. But remember, I told you guys, I've put in 1,100 applications and I haven't been able to achieve my goal. So I need to just make my net wider. And then this is the role that I would love. Like, this is, I think, an ideal role for me, which is a sales engineer role. So I have 2 different resumes, one for project management roles, and then one here for sales engineer roles. I developed and designed this all on my own, and it kind of gives a glimpse into my graphic design ability. But I have read that this may not be the most flattering format for some of these AI tools. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I plan to consistently do research and figure it out for myself. So this is the brief synopsis of who I am, what I've done, what I plan to do. And I hope that this can bring some value to you guys. And if it does, then perfect. I hope that we can connect and build a relationship. If it doesn't, then thanks for watching. And I hope whatever journey you're going on, that you have nothing but success. Have a great one, you guys.